My name is Bianca and I'm part of the developer relations team at Prefect. I hope you're enjoying the Winter Summit so far and are ready to explore some of the latest and greatest features that Prefect has to offer. In keeping with the Summit's theme, this demonstration will begin by focusing on the details of Prefect that allow us to zoom in on our workflows and then gradually expand to zoom out for a broader perspective of our data ecosystem. To set the stage, the Prefect Cloud workspace I'll be showcasing is populated with deployments of standard Python ETL pipelines designed to process Major League Baseball data. The pipelines are running in Docker containers and are designed to ingest data from the MLB stack for processing and then load the data into an S3 bucket and mother duck table for storage. We'll be kicking off a run of our pipeline through Prefect's UI and inspecting the execution of the script in the flow run tracing page. For those of you that are newer to Prefect, a flow run is representative of one instance of a Python script executing. The flow run tracing page is designed with one objective in mind: to empower you to zoom in on the health and execution details of any workflow, giving you unparalleled insight into how your workflows run. If you've ever felt frustrated by the limits of traditional logging systems when debugging complex workflows, this feature is here to change that narrative. On the run tracing page, there is a lovely execution timeline which by default shows a chronological view of tasks and flows as they execute, along with clear dependencies and durations. Each node in the graph represents a function in our pipeline. From here, you can access logs, parameters, and other related properties that provide context on the execution of the run. You can also see visual triggers that represent any Prefect events produced by this particular run. To make it easier to diagnose issues, there are a variety of filtering options for searching through logs, and different visualization options for organizing the graphical representation of your pipeline. So, what does this mean for you as a Prefect user? You'll have enhanced productivity by spending less time troubleshooting and more time building. You'll also have better visibility into what's happening in your workflows, allowing you to trust the platform you've built and gain overall confidence in your processes. The next couple of features we'll cover are at the deployment level. For those that are newer to Prefect, a deployment is a configuration that defines how and where a workflow should be executed. It's a way to package a workflow with its associated metadata, including scheduling information and infrastructure requirements. And now there is a powerful new feature in Prefect that gives you fine-grained control over workflow execution: deployment concurrency. If you've ever struggled with resource overutilization or scheduling inefficiencies, this feature is for you. Deployment concurrency is here to simplify and enhance your workflow orchestration experience by answering the question, what do I do if I want to cap the number of active runs for this particular pipeline? You can add a concurrency limit to a deployment in a variety of ways. The first is through the UI, as you can see here. The next method is through the CLI with Prefect Deploy. Alternatively, you can go through the Python SDK using flow.deploy or flow.serve. Deployment concurrency also offers different options for configuring the behavior of upcoming runs once the concurrency limit is reached. There is an enqueue collision strategy, which transitions upcoming runs to an awaiting concurrency slot state as they wait for slots to become available. Alternatively, there is a cancel new collision strategy, where new runs are canceled until a slot frees up. For this particular deployment, the concurrency limit is set to 3 with an enqueue collision strategy. Let's kick off a couple runs to see what happens. Navigate to the parent flow. As you can see in the flow run visualization, only 3 runs of the MLB pipeline are allowed to be actively running at a given time. I can't stress enough that one of the key benefits of deployment concurrency is resource optimization, which prevents system overload by controlling the number of simultaneous runs for a given deployment. If you have workflows that consume high CPU or memory resources, they will be likely contenders for receiving a concurrency limit. Now, concurrency helps manage how workflows are executed, but what about ensuring they complete in a timely fashion? That brings us to deployment SLAs, a feature designed to define and monitor workflow performance, ensuring reliability across your data processes. Service level agreements, or SLAs, are an abstraction built on Prefect's powerful automation system. While the underlying system handles complex configurations, SLAs focus on what matters most, defining expectations for your workflows and specifying actions to take when those expectations are not met. For example, this deployment must complete within these defined SLAs. If the deployment execution exceeds any of these SLAs, an SLA breach event is surfaced to Prefect along with the level of severity. When inspecting the deployment in the UI, we can see the corresponding SLAs I defined in my code. By adding this layer of accountability and transparency to your Prefect deployments, you can define and monitor the expected behavior of your workflows, ensuring they meet critical business requirements. Whether you're a workflow author ensuring timely data delivery or an engineer responsible for managing multiple critical workflows, SLAs make it easy to define performance expectations, monitor compliance, and automate responses to deviations. Let's kick off a few runs of this deployment to see them get flagged as having breached their SLAs. Coincidentally, we'll be able to see these violations when previewing our next exciting feature, the updated Run Analytics page. The Run Analytics page allows you to zoom out a bit further and see the bigger picture of your workflow ecosystem. It has been reimagined to address a critical challenge: fragmented information that prevents engineers from fully understanding their system. With this dashboard, Prefect enables you to step back and see how individual workflows fit into the broader operational landscape. It consolidates operational data into a cohesive, context-rich view, allowing you to move from troubleshooting isolated runs to understanding your entire data ecosystem. Here, we can see a variety of comprehensive metrics like average flow run durations, failure rates, SLA violations, and lateness to provide an overview of system performance. This view can be customized to analyze runs by deployment tags to help uncover high-level relationships between workflows and metadata. The run information on this page can also be filtered by state and grouped in a variety of different ways. For example, work pool, deployment, and flow. Overall, the newly updated runs page is a gateway to seeing the bigger picture of your Prefect workflows. With advanced visualizations, persistent filters, and comprehensive metrics, this feature empowers you to understand and optimize your entire data ecosystem. Building on the insights offered by the Run Analytics page, let's keep the momentum going by checking out the new Worker UI, a feature that provides an extra layer of visibility into your workflow execution environment. To add some context for those of you that are new, a worker is a lightweight deployable process that executes and manages Prefect workflows in distributed environments. In my case, I'm using a Docker worker to run my pipelines in Docker containers. If you've ever struggled to debug worker or infrastructure-related issues, this enhancement is here to simplify your experience, making it easier to track worker activity. Selfishly, having served as a member of the Prefect support team for a good while, this feature is especially appealing to me. Whether you're dealing with individual workers or groups of workers sharing the same name, you can now access detailed information, including the worker name, their last seen timestamp, their status, whether it's online or offline, and the Prefect version the worker is running on. Clicking on any record in the list opens a dedicated worker detail page that has a live stream of logs emitted by the worker. There are filtering capabilities as well, making troubleshooting a breeze. The new Worker UI provides a powerful lens into the execution layer where our workflows are running. However, this next feature allows us to zoom out even further to understand how these workflows interact with the broader data ecosystem. Allow me to introduce you to resources. Resources are a new abstraction in Prefect Cloud that redefines how you can visualize and understand the interactions between workflows and the external systems they depend on. To our resources page, I've added a lonely deployment. If there's one thing you take home from this portion of the demo, let it be this: no workflow is an island. Whether it's an S3 bucket, a SQL table, a machine learning model, or an API endpoint, resources provide a unified framework to track and visualize how workflows interact with external systems. With resources, we can understand the impact of changes across interconnected workflows and empower teams to manage their data ecosystem with clarity and precision. Whenever it is expressed in code that a workflow reads from or writes to a shared resource, these resource interactions will be registered within Prefect Cloud. For any resource, you can see which workflows depend on it and which workflows produce it, allowing you to visualize this network to better understand their connections. Here we can see a complete representation of all of the resources that this MLB pipeline interacts with. From the API endpoints we're getting the data from, to the S3 bucket and motherduck table used for storing the process data. With resources, you can also understand the blast radius of workflow failures or unexpected issues such as corrupted data. If there's scheduled or unforeseen downtime for a particular component or surface represented here, the impact of the downtime can be assessed before it actually happens. This feature represents a major step in the direction of operational clarity, where engineers can begin to transition from just managing isolated workflows to orchestrating a cohesive workflow intelligence platform. And just like that, we've reached the end of our demo. These innovations we've seen today are more than just a jumble of new features. They're building blocks for a smarter, more unified data ecosystem. I know I'm speaking on behalf of the team at Prefect when I say we can't wait to see how you leverage these tools to push the boundaries of what's possible in your own systems. So with that, let's keep building, innovating, and orchestrating together. Take care.